So hello and welcome everyone. Uh, in last class, we was discussing about cost. In last class, we was discussing about cost, and I told you what we need just an understanding what is a cost, right? Because sometimes there will be maybe some basic questions they can ask in the exam, and another important thing you must have to understand what is marginal cost. What is marginal cost? Okay, so Marthe Bande, good evening. Soham Naskar, hello sir. Will be any management class? Uh, for management, I think team will answer this question. For economics, I'm taking. For management, management will means management classes. Our management will answer your query. Okay, so yeah, see, you got the reply. Okay. So marginal cost was means one of the important factor. Even not only here, everywhere the marginal cost is very important to understand. So that's why we must have to get this point. And in last class, I think I have explained you in detail. Right, I have explained you in the detail. If in any case you have missed that class, go to the channel and watch that class and specifically try to get the understanding of what is marginal cost and why it is important. Apart from the marginal cost, for basic understanding, you must also understand opportunity cost. And means these phenomena are small phenomena. Just have a quick look on the last class if you have not attended that last class. It will help you, right? So the objective of to understanding the cost is we have to understand market, right? And I told you general understanding among the students, the general understanding among the students who are preparing for the various competitive exam where economy or economics is being asked, their general perception when we said market, their perception with respect to financial market. Even some called it simply as a share market, right? So financial market or share market, debt market, money market, right? Forex market, all these are derivative or kind of a type of market, right? They are a type of market, they are a type of financial market. Fine. So they are not exactly a market, they are a type of market. Today we will understand what market means in the subject of economics. Okay, so the definition is market is a place where buyers and sellers, where buyers and sellers will meet for the purpose of selling and purchasing, right? So market is a place where buyers and sellers will meet for the purpose of selling and purchasing, right? So buyer and seller, they are two important constituent of market, right? They are two important constituent of market. But in economics, when we have to define various types of market, we define these various types of the market on the basis of sellers, right? Who are selling what? right? So on the basis of sellers, we do define the market, whereas buyers we do understand under the consumer behavior. Buyers are being studied under consumer behavior theory, right? Typical part of economics, whereas we do define market on the basis of sellers, right? We do define the market on the basis of sellers. Buyers, they are being defined accordingly to the consumer behavior. Okay. So when we are going to define market, on the basis of sellers, there are few categories of market. Number one is monopoly market. Number two is monopolistic market, or better to write it as a monopolistic market competition. Third is oligopoly. Another is duopoly, and then is perfect market competition. In short, PMC. In some books, you will find a categorization of market into two types: perfect market and imperfect market. So whatever I have defined, these four type, they are example of imperfect market. So why they are known as imperfect market and why it is known as a perfect market, right? So the definition of perfect means what? Once it will be perfect, no other thing is required, right? Once the thing is going to be perfect, we don't want anything add or subtract because it's going to be perfect, right? So to get the understanding, once you will get the understanding of this perfect market, you are automatically going to understand why these markets are known as imperfect market. So first we will start with the imperfect market, then we will gradually move and we will understand this perfect market competition, right? Okay, so first let's start monopoly. Monopoly means it's simple, it's very simple to understand. Monopoly means what? The single person, right? So in monopoly there will be what? Single seller. In monopoly there will be single seller. Good evening, Anshu. Okay, so monopoly means what? Single seller. There will be one seller only, and that seller is, if the single seller, that means single seller have complete control over the market. Complete control over the market, right? If there will be a single seller, that single seller is going to have a complete control over the market. Fine. So this is, we do define monopoly. However, to define monopoly, it's better to have an example. And the best example in this category comes IR, means Indian Railways. Right. So in India, the railway transportation, especially the railway transportation for passenger and ferry services, that is under complete control of Indian Railways. Though in recent past, there are some instances where certain route or certain trains are being privately operated, right? Privately operated, what it means that the services inside the train will be provided by the private, right? But the management of running the trains on what route and how it is going to be run, that is still under complete control of railways. But government of India is trying to open that sector for the private sector, right? And the interesting fact is what? The interesting fact is before 1926, before 1926, it was private. Railway was private. The railway was not nationalized in India. It was nationalized in 1926. Complete nationalization of railway happened in 1926. So, in case whenever you will get an opportunity to go to Delhi, or you are in Delhi, so near Safdarjung there is a railway museum. If you will visit there, you will find a lot of railway coaches and railway museum things, which will show you the railway was private in India, right? So it's not new for India if government is going to think about the privatization, right? But that is separate discussion. Here, what we are going to discuss, monopoly, and we are going to take the example of Indian Railway, how Indian Railway have a monopoly over rail travel in India. Railway travel in India, because if you want to travel with the railway, only Indian Railway is a service provider. Whereas if you want to travel with air travel, lot of options are available in the Indian domestic circuit. Means you have an option of Indigo, Air India, lot of options are available. So you can choose from which flight you want to use to travel, right? But if you want to travel in India and with the railways, you have only one choice, that is the service provided by the Indian Railways. Similarly, BCCI, Board of Cricket Control in India, they also have a monopoly over the cricket in India. So any official representation of India or any Indian representation in the domestic circuit, that is under complete control of Board of Cricketing Control in India. So BCCI have a monopoly over cricket in India. Similarly, Coal India Limited, right? So all the coal mines at present, though government of India is actively considering to privatize this, even Coal India, or more private participation in the coal mines, though still Coal India Limited have a kind of monopoly over the coal mining in India. Fine. So whatever the kind of contract for particular field. So actually by default, any coal mines in India is a property of government of India, and government of India managed through that property through Coal India Limited. Right. Now the Coal India Limited have two options. Either they can operate coal mines on their own, or they can give that coal mine for mining to any company through auction. Through auction, they can give to any company, okay, we are going to auction this mining field, and whosoever is interested, the highest bidder is going to get this coal mines. But ultimately, they come under the control of what? Coal India Limited. So, Coal India Limited, BCCI, Indian Railways, all these are example of what? All these are example of monopoly, right? All these are examples of monopoly in India. Okay. Now, If you understood what monopoly is, so I have a one question for you. Can we say that monopoly have complete control over the price? Do monopoly have complete control over the price? Means whatever the service they are providing, do they have complete control over the price? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. AB Bhatt, Archana, yes, very good. They have complete control over the price. Right. So actually, this is not my question. My question is, if you are accepting this thing, monopoly have country complete control over the price. Now my question is, price in monopoly market will be rigid or flexible. It will be rigid or flexible. You have two options. Option A, rigid. Option B, flexible. Now you have to answer. Marathe, AB, Archana, Anshu, answer my question. In the monopoly market, prices will be rigid or flexible. And the fact is, monopoly have complete control. This is the fact which you have accepted. Now you have to answer. Okay. AB is saying rigid. Archana is saying flexible. Anyone else who want to answer? In monopoly market, price will be rigid or flexible? Marathe, rigid. Okay. Rigid. Very good. So I have received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyone else who want to answer? Rigid or flexible? Okay, I tell you the answer, but before telling the answer, this is one of the question. This is one of the question which forced me, or you can say which pushed me, or this question means this is one question. Apart from this, there are a few more questions which attracted me towards this subject, right? Which attracted me towards this subject. When I was preparing for the civil services, I was having an optional subject of political science and psychology, right? And I did my graduation in physics, chemistry, maths. So whenever people know about me, ki, okay, you did your graduation in physics, chemistry, math, then you studied with the political science as an optional and psychology as an optional, did good, but ultimately finally not able to clear the interview, and finally your attempts are over. So why economics? Why economics? Because economics, the greatness of this subject is what? The greatness of this subject is what? Sometimes what we feel that it is right, but actually it is wrong, right? But when you, because see, when you feel that it is right and answer comes wrong, right? It's right, you are feeling it's right, but answer come wrong. So it is definitely going to push somewhere ki how I can be wrong, right? How I can be wrong. So economics is a kind of subject which is going to prove why you are wrong, why you are wrong. In other subjects, things are not like right and wrong. In psychology, things can be right and things can be wrong. Sometimes they are right, sometimes they are wrong. Similarly, in political science also, sometimes things are right and same thing are wrong. Right. But here in the economics, most of the times, 99% of the time, you will get a right answer why it is right and why it is wrong. Okay. So now, coming back to this point, it is going to be okay. I got all movements. Okay. Rigid. Lot of people are saying rigid. Only one person is saying flexible. And answer is flexible, not rigid. I deliberately have given you this statement. Deliberately, I have given you this statement because I know that once I will give this statement, automatically you will tempt to say it rigid, not flexible. Now, question is how it can be flexible when monopoly have the complete control, right? Monopoly have the complete control. When we say monopoly have the complete control, they can change the price as per their will. It doesn't matter what others are thinking. What others means, there is no competitor. First of all, they are single person. Number two, because they are single person, whatever they are going to provide, buyer must have to accept the price. Buyer must have to accept the price if they want that service. So if you have to accept that price, you do not have a choice, right? So you have complete freedom as a seller, whatever price you want to quote, right? You have an absolute right, whatever the price you want to quote, because there is no competition, number one. Number two, because of no competition, whatever the price you will quote, buyer must have to accept the price. So this is why what the product they are selling at the price of 10 rupees, they can change the price to 15 rupees at their will, right? But if in case there are 2 3 sellers, product A is sold by monopoly at the price of 10 rupees, right? They are selling the price of, or even in the case of Indian Railways, they are selling the platform ticket at the price of 5 rupees. They went for 10 rupees, then they will went for 30 rupees, even 100 rupees, 50 rupees, without any rationale. Without any rationale, they have changed the price, and you do not have any choice. If you want to enter the platform without being caught, right? If you want to enter in the platform without being caught, then you must have to purchase that ticket at whatever the price they are quoting, right? Whereas in the airlines case, if Indigo from Delhi to Hyderabad, if they are quoting the price of 3,800, immediately you are going to check the price what SpiceJet or other airlines are offering. If other airlines at the same time they are offering the same price, even low price, then definitely you will go for that option. But in case of what? In case, just imagine that at that particular place, for example, at particular place you want to go and only Air India services are available for that particular place. So you must have to accept the price offered by the Air India if you want to go there with what? By air. Then you have to must accept the price. So when the situation arises where you have to accept the price, you just immediately understand you are in a kind of monopoly like situation where the price is offered by a monopoly, because whatever the price they can offer, you have to accept. So when you are a seller and you got this freedom, I can change the price as per my will. So price is going to be changed very easily. So when this question is being asked in the examination, price in the monopoly market will be rigid or flexible. The question is in the context of the power to change the price. I told you that we are understanding this market on the basis of sellers. And you are thinking in terms of what? You are thinking in terms of buyer. No, you have to apply your mind here as a seller, right? So for seller, it is a complete control over the price. Whatever the price he is going to quote, you have to accept. That means he can change the price as per his will, right? You have a freedom to change the price as per the will. That is why prices are going to be flexible as per the wish and will of monopoly power. Understood this point? Clear? Waiting for your reply. Malay, okay. Nishtha, okay, good. Very good. I'm happy you are replying and replying my queries. Okay, good. Now, one more question. One more question, as we already discussed about what? As we already discussed about elasticity, right? I told you elasticity is what? Measure of change. We do measure change through elasticity, right? So suppose that monopoly is selling monopoly is selling good A. That is good A, and the price of good A is rupees 10, right? The price of good A is rupees 10, right? And demand of that good is X. At price 10, demand is X. Okay. Demand, price. So here is the price 10 rupees. Okay. And demand is X at the price 10 rupees. Now we are going to understand elasticity of demand on the basis of price, or we can write it price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand we have to find. So what we are going to do, we are going to change the price, and when we will change the price, we have to see what changes in demand is going to be there, right? So price was 10, now it is increased to 20. Price is being doubled, right? Price is being doubled, and we have to check what will be the market demand, right? What is going to be the market demand, we have to check it. Okay, so as we are in a monopoly market, we know that there is no substitute is available, right? Now the buyer who is demanding this product X, earlier the price was what, 10, but now price is doubled. Now he have two choice. The choice is what? Either he have to leave that product, or he have to purchase that product, because no alternative is available. So if that product is a kind of product which he cannot deny, right, then in that case what is going to happen? Even at the double price, he must accept what? He must accept the price. There is no alternative for him. There is no alternative for him if the price is going to decrease or if the price is going to increase, right? In this case, the demand is going to be remain same, right? The demand is definitely going to be remain same. So if demand is going to be remain same, then we are going to get this kind of the curve. And I told you about the formula of E. E is change in demand upon change in price. So prices keep changing from 0 to 100, but there is no change in the demand. So no change in the demand means what? It is going to be 0 because delta D is what? Change in the demand, right? And change in the demand is 0, then E's value is going to be what? The value of E will be 0, and I told you what E0 means. Perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic. So E is equal to 0, perfectly inelastic. So it can be very simple question like what? In monopoly market, price elasticity of demand will be 0, 1, infinity, greater than 1 or less than 1. Answer is going to be what? Answer is going to be 0. So the same question can be asked in various ways. Same concept they are going to ask. See how they are going to frame the question. Question number 1. They are going to frame the price elasticity of demand in monopoly market. Focus on my words, huh? So price elasticity of demand in monopoly market. 4 options. Answer is E is equal to 0 if they are asking in the numerics, right? 0, 1 greater than 1 or infinity, then answer is E is equal to 0. This is the answer. Same question, options are going to be changed what? The options are going to be changed from 0, 1 greater than 1, less than 1. From these options, they are going to be asked elastic, inelastic, perfectly inelastic, right? So answer will be perfectly inelastic. Third type. In third type, they are going to make it little bit complicated. They are going to make it little bit complicated. Why they are going to make it little bit complicated? Just listen the question. In perfect market competition, in the perfect market competition, demand curve, the perfect market competition, demand curve will be perpendicular to demand axis, parallel to demand axis, it will be down sloping curve, it will be upward sloping curve to demand axis, right? So they are asking question in terms of what? In terms of curve. So curve, you can clearly see that this demand axis and this is price axis. So whenever the perfect inelastic thing will be there, it is going to be perpendicular to demand axis, right? The same question they can frame in terms of price. How? They are going to ask in perfect market competition, demand curve is parallel to price axis, perpendicular to price axis, moving right side from the price axis, moving left side from the price axis. So it is not moving, it is static, right? So last two options are incorrect. Then is it perpendicular to price axis? No, it is parallel to price axis. It is perpendicular to demand axis. Yes, Marathe E is equal to 0. So whenever the question is on curve, right? See how students sometimes the good students are not get selected because they have anxiety syndrome. That anxiety syndrome, you are very good student but you have a anxiety syndrome, and that anxiety syndrome you are going to be very anxious. What will happen, right? What will happen if, but, why? So lot of things are going to running in your mind, right? Everybody have anxiety. If somebody is saying that they are not fearful or they are not anxiety and they are not having anxiety, either they are telling a lie, right? Or means they are telling a lie. There is no other thing. Everyone have an anxiety. Everybody have a fear, right? But if you are too much fearful, then definitely it is going to hamper your performance, right? So whatever the scenario, if you will fail, then what? Who will say? What will say? These things are going to be dependent on your performance, right? So try to minimize the anxiety. How to minimize the anxiety? Attempt as many as practice questions, do good revisions. That is going to help you to reduce your anxiety, right? Mocking of whatever you are going to do. Lot of mocking is going to allow you. Another factor which is very dangerous thing apart from this anxiety, overjoy. Overjoy. So you was having an anxiety, and when you saw the paper, you find the question which you have studied, and that is why you are in joy. Now this question is going to be correct, and in the moment of that joy, you are not going to read the question carefully. You are not going to read the question carefully. Classic example, this curve question. Classic example. Sometimes people have this imprint in their mind, कि in perfect market competition, demand curve demand curve is perpendicular. So they have imprint in their mind of perpendicular. Curve is perpendicular. So whenever they saw the question monopoly, happy. And when they saw the question is on curve, they are very happy. And in that very happiness and joyness, they forget to read the question carefully. Only perpendicular is running in their mind. They are not looking other words of the question. They are just focus on perpendicular. And in the option, you are going to get this option perpendicular. Tick and next question. Right? Why I'm telling you this thing, because I also did same mistakes, right? I also did the same mistakes, and this is why it is said that your best teacher is your last mistake. This is why people say that your best teacher is your last mistake, because I am here to make you in such a way you should not do those mistakes which I did at my time. Fine. So, this is why I'm telling you, be very careful while reading the questions, especially when these questions are on economics. Got my point? So, I hope this point is clear. Okay, fine. So, if this point is clear, now my question is monopoly good or bad? That is subjective question. That is subjective question. Monopoly is good or bad, right? You can see that if there is an essential good, if there is an essential good, and now monopoly of private firm, there is an essential good, and now monopoly is being established by the private firm. And private firm always work for what? Private firm always work for profit. Private firm always work for the profit, right? So if they always work for the profit, then it is going to be a nightmare for the people who are in low income section, because those people who are in low income section, it is going to be very difficult for them to raise their voice, right? It's simple, it's very simple, and especially in country like India, right? I have wrote some book. There was an economist. I'm not able to recall his name right now, but what he written in his book, he wrote there: if you want to know the progress of any country, right? The best place is to visit is public toilets. The best place is to visit is public toilet, and you can see this thing: the public toilet where the common people are living, and the public toilets where the influential people are living. You can see the difference. They are well maintained, properly maintained, each and everything is proper, right? Whereas in the common people, common market, you can see it is how it is being maintained, right? So just imagine if a private firm is going to have a monopoly over what? Monopoly over an essential good, which is very important for whom? Which is very important for, which is very important for what? Common people. Then it is going to be worse situation, right? Worse situation. But if if this monopoly, rather than of private firm, it is of government, it is of government, then that firm is going to provide that essential service without profit making motive. Though they may earn profit, right, operating profit, but their solo objective is not to make the profit. They are government firms, right? So maybe some operational reasons or expansion or something like that, they want to go for some profit, but their objective is not to make the profit only, right? So this is why when a country who got freedom in 1947, 90% population was under poverty, unemployment, they don't know the things, right? So what do you think? Should government allow the competition? If government is going to allow the competition, you know that some firms are going to establish a monopoly, and in that case it is going to be very difficult, it is going to be very difficult to contain that monopoly and provide the essential services to your countrymen, right? Essential services to your countrymen. This is why this is why government in 1947, after freedom, they believe we should have a almost control over the economy, and that is why socialist means of production, where most of the government firms are being there to go for production, right? So this is what they thought, and that is why the nature of Indian economy was kind of socialist nature of economy, where most of the means of production are under control of what? Under the control of government. This is one part of the story. Later I will tell you the another part of story when I will deal this part. What? When I will deal this part, perfect market competition, right? So monopoly is explaining the nature of Indian economy from 1947 to 1990s, right? But when we move from 1991 to present day, this perfect market competition is going to explain the nature of Indian economy. This is going to explain the nature of Indian economy. Okay? Acha. I hope you understood what I taught you till then here. Is it clear? Please let me know. Okay, okay. So I hope you got the understanding the severity of the issue of monopoly. Sometimes monopoly is required, and sometimes monopoly is absolutely not required, right? Absolutely not required. So when now at present, I told you na ki I'll explain the nature of Indian economy when I'll take the perfect market competition. But what we understood till then here, we got this understanding. We got this understanding. At some place, monopoly is required. At some place, monopoly is required, especially when essential services are there and it should be available to the common people, poor people. Then there must be kind of monopoly, and that monopoly should be under the government, right? But at the same time, where there is a competitive market. For example, airlines. In airlines, right now, Indigo, Air India, right, SpiceJet, Vistara, and at present, Indigo is the largest airline in India. So just imagine, because of their dominant position in the Indian market, because of their dominant position in the Indian market, Air India, which is now purchased by Tata's, just imagine what I just trying to make you understand is Indigo have the dominant position, right? And because of their dominant position, they are capable of even purchasing all other airlines in India, right? So if you will allow, then they have this capacity even to purchase all other airlines. So if Indigo is going to purchase all the airlines by offering good amount of price, which is even acceptable to SpiceJet, they are happily to accept it. If Indigo is going to offer very high price, SpiceJet is immediately going to accept it. Vistara is going to immediately accept it. Tata is going to immediately accept it. And if they will accept, means buyer and seller. Who is a buyer? Indigo is a buyer. Who is the buyer? Indigo is the buyer. And who are the sellers? These are the sellers. So if buyer and seller agree, what is the role of the government? It's simple. But if you will closely look here, what is going to happen if all the airlines are going to be purchased by Indigo? Then in airlines, Indigo is going to have what? Indigo is going to have monopoly. And this monopoly is going to severely impact consumers. Because once the Indigo is going to establish the monopoly, then it is going to create a problem for the consumers, because Indigo know that nobody have this ability to provide the flight services in India apart from us. So do you think that we should allow Indigo to do this thing? No, absolutely no, right? So that is why, for why no? Because it is not fair practice. What is not fair practice? Indigo is saying that I am having the money, so I am purchasing. What's your problem? I am having the money, I am purchasing the things. What is your problem? Our problem is the objective of purchasing. The objective of purchasing. The objective of purchasing for you is not just intended to increase your business. The objective of yours is to increase your business, create a monopoly, and do the price monopoly and exploit. So, this is your intended objective, and it is not a fair practice. The fair practice is what? Okay, you want to expand the business. So, the question arises, who is going to judge? Is it fair practice or not? So, that is why all over the world there is an organization established by the governments, and they are known as antitrust bodies. Antitrust bodies, or in particular country it will be antitrust body. In India, you know this organization as CCI, Competition Commission of India. So what is the job of Competition Commission of India? To force fair market practices. And I think I have given this example earlier also in some session about Pepsi and Coca-Cola. In 1996, both of these firms went for a meeting and they decided that we will go for merger. We will go for merger, right? We will go for merger, right? But US antitrust body has made a statement that in any case we are not going to allow this merger of PepsiCo and Coca-Cola. we are not going to allow the merger of PepsiCo and Coca-Cola because it is going to create an absolute monopoly of a soft drink company, not only in US but all over the world, because combinedly they control 94% market of the soft drink all over the world. 94% giants. Not only in US or India, all over the world, soft drink market 94% is controlled by Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. Right. So antitrust body said that no, we are not going to allow in any case. It's against the fair market practices. Right. Microsoft, Google, right? Microsoft, Google, they all tried to purchase Yahoo. They all tried to purchase Yahoo at a point of time. Once Yahoo was in trouble, all of them they want to purchase Microsoft. Sorry, Yahoo. But again, US antitrust body not allowed because they provide mail services. Google and Microsoft also provide the mail services. Any one of them are going to buy, that is going to create a, especially if Google is going to purchase, it is going to have a complete kind of monopoly. Still kind of monopoly Google have or not? People say that Google search, right? If you'll see few years back, Google was not advertising about their search engine. Google was not advertising it of their search engine. But you have seen recently, गूगल से पूछने से सब पता चलता है, सब बताता है. इन हिंदी, इन अदर लैंग्वेजेस ऑल्सो दे ऑलवेज से दैट गूगल से सब पता चलता है. गूगल इज एडवर्टाइजिंग अबाउट देयर सर्च इंजन. Why? Because some competitors are rising. Some competitors are rising. And at the same time, lot of antitrust cases are going on Google in Europe. What Google is doing, if any search engine application is getting popularity, Google know that if it is going to be popular, I have to face the competition. And to avoid the competition, do what? Purchase that company. Purchase that company and it will be the part of our company. So by hook or crook, Google try to purchase. And when you will purchase it, then that antitrust body is going to investigate the case. What is your intention? If they found that intention is not good, then what? Then that purchase will be illegal. Right? So you have seen that a lot of things is going between Amazon, Future Group, right, and Reliance Geomart. All these things we are going to discuss. All these things we are going to discuss not in this monopoly part, but later on we will discuss all this part. I hope it is clear. Is it clear? Antitrust body and why we need antitrust body and monopoly is clear. Okay. So before moving ahead, I have mentioned these markets here: monopoly market, monopolistic market, and oligopoly market, duopoly market, perfect market competition. Before moving ahead, I just want to share one more kind of the market. Actually, it is not a big market, but maybe they ask in the exam, so you must know the definition. That is monopsony. The term known as monopsony. It means single seller and single buyer. When such kind of the situation arises in the market, it is not a type of market, but sometimes situation like this will arises, and then we say it is what? It is monopsony. So there is no requirement to discuss in the detail. Even at the higher level also, it is not required. Just for your understanding, there is a term known as monopsony, which means single buyer and single seller in the economy. This is known as monopsony. Okay. Now, next market, what we have to discuss is after monopoly, there was monopolistic market competition. Monopolistic market competition. In this market, there are many sellers selling similar goods with unique feature. So it is a market where sellers are selling their product, right? Sellers are selling their product, but what the product they are selling, that is same product, right? That is the same product, but every product have its own unique feature. So can you give an example where same kind of the goods are there but every seller have their own unique feature? An example? Edutech companies. Okay, very smart. Edutech companies. So edutech companies. So what is the unique feature? Means how they are edutech company. It's not good to say the name, but how the edutech companies? What unique features they are providing? What unique feature? Acha, I'll give you one example. Recently, uh, one Chinese company one Chinese company, they have launched their product with 120-watt charging, and they are first in the market who are claiming to provide 120-watt charging, and as per them, in 10 to 15 minutes, entire phone is going to be completely charged. So mobile phone is provided by many firms. Many firms are selling their product, but Xiaomi came with what? The unique feature. The unique feature is what? Super fast charging, and even entire phone can be charged with 10 to 15 minutes. Right? In 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, Nishta has given the answer. Common feature is all are providing editing, but their own ways, like the content, right? And the style of delivering is the different. Yeah, in that way you can say that. In that way you can say that edutech companies, uh, but if you will go there, if you will go there, the unique features should be clearly visible. Like I have given you the example, at present no other firm is providing 120-watt charging, right? 120-watt charging. 15 watt, 30 watt, 60 watt. So they came with what? Unique feature, and they are claiming ki we are the first one who have provided this 120 watt charging in our particular product. Right. So in this way, whenever the firm is offering such kind of the price or such kind of the services, where other mobile service providers are also there, but any firm will come with what? Any firm will come with this kind of the thing, then they will be known as what? A unique product, right? Similarly, few years back, Samsung announced that we are going to start with wireless charging. So wireless charging, they came with a unique feature, but later on in the within a few months, all other companies also started offering that thing. So after certain point of time, it become a common feature. But after certain point of time, certain company came with another unique feature. So a market where every time there are the many sellers, and every seller are coming with what? Unique feature. Every seller is coming and they are competing on the basis of their unique feature. Then that kind of the market is known as monopolistic market competition. And whatever I'll tell you here about monopolistic market competition, understanding will be only half. Understanding is going to be only 50%. Remaining 50% you will understand when you understand oligopoly. Right. So what I'll do, because time is already almost over, time is not there. So what I'll do first, I will explain monopolistic market competition. You will get some understanding, and then I'll explain the other part, that is oligopoly. Then you will get the complete understanding of the monopolistic market competition and oligopoly completely. And this is going to give you the understanding what is happening in right now among Amazon and Future Group, Reliance Geomart. At the same time, you will understand the other market, that is what? That is telecom market, having lot of trouble recently. Government of India has decided ki they are, even Vodafone has decided to sell off their shares to the government of India, to give their shares to the government of India. Why this is happening, all these things we are going to discuss in the next class. I hope you can FMCG product come with this category. Nishta, it can become with the under this category. Any product can come under this category if they are giving the unique feature, right? So if any FMCG product, for example, you can see that the tea companies, tea or detergent powder company, they are trying to depict to you कि my product is having the unique feature, but the point is most of them they have the similar feature. So FMCG products are the example of oligopoly, not an example of monopolistic, right? So better I'll discuss this monopolistic side by side, oligopoly, then you will automatically going to get the clear understanding of what is the difference between monopolistic and oligopoly, right? So thank you for today. We will discuss it tomorrow 7:30. Okay, thank you.